Started with Northwestern Mutual, did quite well with them. I was among their top 10 rookie agents throughout the country. Unfortunately, my general agent had a serious drinking problem, and you couldn't count on him for any help, really. So when Boots Stensgaard offered me a district agency with mutual benefit, I made the switch, which turned out to be a big mistake because Goot didn't know what he was talking about, and I spent most of my time trying to recruit salesmen, and because my overrides weren't to take effect until I had 2 full-time agents and 2 part-time agents, and it took a while to get those because I was just a 23-year-old punk trying to convince IBM salesmen to switch over to sell insurance. But I did finally get my guys, and then I wanted to get my overrides, and mutual benefits says, "You gotta be kidding. We haven't even had a general agency on the road yet. It's just a managed general agency, and we can't have any district agencies." Well, turns out Goot didn't know what he was talking about. He was reading what he could do once he was a general agent, but not while he was a managed general agent. So that put me down the pike a couple of years with a lot of out-of-pocket expenditures and very little income, and suddenly not much hope of income. So I went back with Northwestern Mutual in Phoenix, which was also a mistake because the general agent there had spent his first 13 years in the business living in a tent in his in-laws' backyard and thought that is the way that everybody should make it in the business. And even though I made a lot of sales, my first month or so, my family was still in North Dakota, and I wanted to get them out there. I wanted to get a house rented and so on. So I went to see him for an advance on the annual commissions of the business I'd already written. That's when he gave me the lecture about living in a tent for 13 years. And I'm not up to, I think I'll do something else. So I became a probation officer.
What did it take to become a probation officer?
Well, you have to have your degree, and then you just have to take a test. And, if you pass, well, you take a written test and an oral test and a background check. And if you pass them all, I guess you got hired. I got hired, so I guess I passed them all. Well, unfortunately, it was a good department, but at the time, the department and Arizona in general didn't pay anything compared to California. I could do basically the same job in California and make absolutely double the income. Now granted that, you know, the cost of rentals and so on was more in California, but it wasn't double. So as soon as I had the experience that California required, then I went over and took the test. One time I hitchhiked, and another time I went, because I did not only go over and take the test, but I had to go over for interviews. One time I hitchhiked, and another time I went, a guy by the name of Dennis Dettian and I went over in his car. He never got hired. But
What was the reason you needed to do moonlighting back in Los Angeles?
I was broke.
You had a full-time job.
Well, unfortunately, my time in Phoenix was more debt accumulation than it was asset accumulation. And, you know, you don't just leave those when you move, the debts, you know, go with you, and so I had debts that I had to repay. I don't remember now if they were credit cards or what, but